Hey guys, welcome back. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about the two Supermans that we've had recently. Pretty much, I wanted to go over the Supermans that they portrayed, not so much as the actors. I do want to dive into that a little bit too, but I wanted to elaborate more on the Supermans that these guys played. And what I mean by the Supermans, I'm only referencing Henry Cavill and David Corenswet. Pretty much, I wanted to do a little comparison after giving some time after the movie being released, letting it sink in, and also being able to go back to rewatch the Henry Cavill Superman films. It kind of gives me a little better of an idea of what I think of the two different Supermans and what they provide. Essentially, I do think they are two very different Supermans. We can all agree with that. And at the same time, I don't think we can be upset at who played the better Superman. I think they both played some really strong Supermans based on the story that they were given. I don't want to be giving any of them a hard time, but I do think there was a lot of difference between Henry Cavill's versus David Corenswet's. So one thing that I wanted to point out was, which I'm sure you guys can agree, is looking back at the older films with Henry Cavill, his Superman he did have that symbol of hope, but that didn't last very long, especially once he was with the Justice League. When Batman came into the story kind of thing, you started to see more of this alternative Superman that essentially was at the edge of, I'm not saying going bad, just you're losing that hope of what he normally represents. And it's not Henry Cavill's fault. I really do think that after watching his older films, the films with Henry Cavill, you can really see that you were just baited into a thirst trap. He's a very handsome guy. He had a lot of scenes that they were just showing his strength and representing more of a god than a hero. Despite all the action scenes that they had with him, I think they were really good. I love the CGI. I like to see how aggressive he can really be, and just what a scary alien he pretty much represents. And I guess that's what they were going for, so that they can bring Batman into the picture. Because that's the whole thing about Batman, is that he's considers Superman his best friend, but he still has that one foot outside the door. Just in case things go south, he'll be there to be able to prevent any of that kind of misfortune from happening. But after watching the new Superman Legacy film with David Corenswet, which was directed by James Gunn, I think they did a fantastic job. I was really conflicted of who has performed as a better Superman. And I'm not gonna lie, I went into those theaters thinking that, hey, this movie's probably gonna be crappy. I've already started hearing the reviews, not the reviews, but the critiques, and they were pretty bad, and people were upset about the movie and whatnot. And I didn't care. I was like, I don't care. Let's just go into this. I want to see what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna let these random critiques ruin the film. So I watched the film, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was having fun watching that film. It was a breath of fresh air. It had so much story. It didn't move slow. It was quick to the point. I love the fact that the movie already started with his character already established, rather than seeing his upbringing. That's like a common thing that you normally see with a lot of these characters. That with Henry Cavill Superman, his upbringing of becoming Superman and getting to know his girlfriend, Lois Lane, I believe. Just when you watch the new Superman Legacy, it's like you don't need to go through all that crap. And I love that, because you don't need it all the time. It's like it's already established. A lot of people already know this. A lot of people read comics, or they've watched the cartoons or other versions of the Superman. So we're already here. This is what the problem is, and this is what we can focus on. I just love the theme of the film. That really sold it to me. And the actor too, David Corenswet, he really appealed as this hero of hope. He really came kind. He was a very kind character. You could see the emotions that he was representing in the film. Like, you could just really see the interactions that he had versus with Henry Cavill's acting. Now, this is what I'm just referencing, their acting. It's just, there is a difference. Henry Cavill is a little bit more stern, a little bit more fierce, very masculine. David Corenswet's character was very masculine too. He comes off more as, he really sold the nerdy guy, the sweet nerdy guy kind of thing. Versus Henry Cavill, who is a real nerd in reality. The guy's a Warhammer 40k nerd. But when it comes to his acting, he comes off of just like extremely masculine, which is freaking awesome. In a lot of other movies where he plays that role as well, and he really sells it, and it's really effing good. And it's like his Superman really did sell it to even be the Superman that kind of just becomes the one that goes against the Justice League, essentially. Especially that scene where he has the whole Justice League trying to subdue him, but he just shows them who's the boss, who's the man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to picture that with David Corenswet's Superman, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point. I just definitely see two different Supermans. I don't say this with much pride, but essentially I do prefer David Corenswet's Superman. It really sold it for me. I absolutely loved it. It really just got me excited for a second film, which I'm really hoping for, especially the way the film ended. It's like already setting up for another film. And I think I was reading online that James Gunn is already starting to bring Batman into the picture. I mean, he's looking for another Batman. I heard that there was some kind of rumors, not confirmed, that he would be open to the role of letting Henry Cavill come and play as Batman. And I think that would be very interesting because, again, he has that stern attitude, that very stern masculine attitude, and I think it would fit a really good Batman. And if there's anything I've always noticed is that when you look at Batman and Superman, the way they're drawn into the comics, they essentially look like the same character. They look like the same person. Getting somebody who looks like they could be a Superman or was a Superman, that would be really cool. Because I know with James Gunn, he shifted the universe because you have Peacemaker involved in a way. I'm sure you guys saw that spoiler where it shows Peacemaker walking and he replaces the original Justice League cast. And he puts his crew in there with the Green Lantern, Hawkgirl. And I feel like he has the power to be able to do that. And I think that would be a badass move, especially after Henry Cavill being done dirty by the original team. I feel like that would be a good way to owe it to him and just balance it out at the same time. But again, this is my opinions. It doesn't really make any sense. This is just what I think would be a pretty good way to give the flowers to Henry Cavill as well for his amazing job playing as Superman. And then we see the new hope of the new Superman with David Corenswet, which he was extremely funny, very nerdy, and his acting skills just really sold it for me. And that movie really caught me off guard with so many scenes where it's just, you did not expect those kinds of turns. But I'm really excited for the next Superman film, hoping that maybe Henry Cavill will consider being the next Batman, but I think he might be working on that Warhammer project kind of thing, so he's probably going to be busy with that. I know he had other guys in line already for the Batman scene. I'm pretty disappointed that we didn't get our Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson, but hopefully maybe we see something in the future where the universes crosses, but we'll see, guys. That's about it. That's all I really wanted to say for today about my Superman comparisons. See you guys till next time.